fast, fatal heart impact. Past painful scars, in fact, I blast tasteful bars and past. I back up my actions back, don't ask, grab reactions, jacked. Attack with every word, then act with class as they hear me snap. I got nothing to lose, cause I fought and felt the bruise. Now I'm not the one confused, call the shots and they produce. I ain't lost, I'm finally loose. Pick a new silver excuse, I need the views to boost me to a new abuse of being used. Everybody wants a piece now, y'all can rest in peace now. You're dead to me, so peace out. Remember, you're discreet now. Get ready for defeat now.
Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirusho here, and now, whenever we last left off with this series, Aki and another yautja got into a battle. They were having a debate, and Aki, she was able to win. The yautja settled a debate by combat, and Aki, she stated her case and won. That's the best way to say it and the best way to keep it simple. Now, Deku, he tried to make a deal with yautja, Aki's mother, about exchanging information for information about the medical tech. He was going to exchange what he knows about the neomorph for what they know on medical tech. Now, Aki's mother, she was actually a little impressed by this, since not only does Deku have the balls to make a gamble like this, whenever yautja tried to turn things a bit more towards her way, Deku was able to point out exactly what she's doing. And he knew a lot more information than she previously thought he would, proving that he is not to be messed with this way. Now, yautja, she gave Deku a clear answer. If their ship is gone, no. If they're still around, they might be considering it. If he gets a transmission, that will be a definite yes. Now, with that being said, it has been a while. Deku was able to exchange some information for medical tech information. And while he did want to offer the body, his scientists, they were still studying it themselves. And there even was David. He's been dealing with things strangely. He's been telling people that he is alive, he is sentient. And while some people, they were obviously, oh yeah, you're just fucking with us, Skynet and all that other stuff. It was more or less him at least being informed and passing everybody the information about it. Everybody, they started to learn this was no joke, especially since Captain Kaylee can verify that he broke a rule of, well, robotics. Now, with that, you do also at least have the humans currently, as the amount of time that has passed has been rounded up to the 2-year mark. Just a little bit past. So let's just say it's been 2 years and 2 months since Deku has been on the planet, or has been abducted. Now, with that out of the way, we do currently open with Deku. Deku, he's been training his people a lot more, and he actually has been very intrigued by what has been going on. These last couple months, they've all been quiet, and he's very happy for that. They have the Bad Blood ship. They have information that they can barter with and trade. And they even do have vehicles capable of exploration for the planet. And thanks to this, they were able to not only at least find the place where they can bury their dead, they also did find more places that were interesting. And they did start to come across creatures and plant life they themselves have not encountered. And even then, there is also the fact that they can find areas where there could be crevices or canyons, and perhaps, if they even do run deep enough into the planet, they can find new minerals. Now, with that, Deku, he's currently leading a bit of a hunting party, as we do have Deku. He's currently flying on the hoverbike, and he is high up in the air, as there are people behind him, and he does go to bring up his left hand and go to point for 3, or at least to bring up 3 fingers, and then go to bring up his right hand. The moment Deku does, he's going to point with his right hand up, as if he's holding it at least like he's, at 90 degrees? he does go to then bring his arm extended. Him bring his elbow down as he's going to throw it downwards like he's going to try and throw water off his hand, and go to throw it down and say two. As the people in those numbers, they would break off. One, or the people to the left, people going over him, and the two people to his right. As whenever he does going to do that, he does try to at least give information out. Everybody, they need to stay on guard. This beast that they are hunting is not one he himself is confident in taking on. The monster they're currently at least hunting down. It, and a small group of its own, well, wolf pack you could say, they are around the area. And they're currently at least jeopardizing part of their hunt for this year. So, if they are to take down this pack, not only can they bring in quite a lot of meat for the winter, they'll also be able to at least use those pelts for something good. And there's a possibility that they can use the bones of the creatures as good resources for their crops. And everybody, they at least all are agreeing, as some of them, they're wearing yautja gear. They're wearing the outfits that people will wear as undergarments, and they are even wearing the fishnet-like material across their bodies. And Deku, he actually is waiting. As while he is flying overhead, he is at least asking where everyone is. As we do actually cut over to two different people. They're both dressed in the yautja gear. Granted, they do not have the same type of helmets as Deku. However, they are making do. Their helmets more fit around their face like the way a human's would actually be. It is more like a porcelain mask in the way it does look. However, it also does at least have a few other extra things. Since, instead of it being an open area around where your ears, your face, and the back of your head would be, it's a full-on helmet with a faceplate that can come off. And it at least does have room cut around it to have mobility in your neck. As they are looking around and talking about how they don't see it. And you do actually have where one of these hunters or the blooded warriors, they do talk about how they think it could have been over there, or at least possibly a few miles to the north, since he remembers that that's where they first encountered the beast. Really? North? I believe so. There should also be at least 3 to the west. And on the other side of the facility. The facility. Yes, if I remember, the area by the science lab. They spotted one of these things by the fence at one point. Okay, good. Okay, everybody. Make sure to stay in groups. What I've assigned you to. Use the weapons you were given. If you come across these creatures, alert somebody. Do not try to take them all alone. Do all of you understand? Everybody going to at least respond in yautja. As Deku, he does at least mute himself. And he does start to fly around the planet a bit more. As he's currently flying forwards over the forest, he does look down. It's kind of insane. Who would have thought at one point in your life you'd ever get to do something like this? Granted, the tech could have existed in his time, and it was experimental. However, it was not maintainable. He's been on this bike for over an hour. And, well, it just seems crazy to him. Being able to fly like this? It shouldn't be possible or maintainable, but it is with the yautja tech. It's just so surreal. It's insane. That being what Deku is lingering on. As you do have whenever somebody they do at least go to say enemy in yautja, or say Meshan, you do have where Deku, he does go to unmute himself. And he does ask exactly coordinates. As somebody they are currently listing off coordinates, as we do have another hunter, or at least another blooded warrior. They are currently hovering around and flying around a creature. As the creature, it's trying to use its tail to chuck material and rocks directly upwards at the pilot. And the pilot, he is making sure to keep moving around, him dodging in the air and shifting his weight as if he's on an actual motorcycle. Him being able to dodge out of the way of a large rock. and being able to avoid it. As the other pilot, they themselves, after getting distracted, they do go have to pull themselves backward on the bike after going to grab down towards the middle of the bar. The moment they did go to shift their weight backwards, the bike did fly upwards and start to move back, them dodging out of the way as their bike does somewhat get struck by a rock. It is enough to shake the bike, and the person they actually do have to go and bring their hand down and go to grab onto the other handlebar. As they do go to throw their weight onto that side, they do have to quickly try and correct themselves. And Deku, he does hear this, as he can hear the person starting to scream and panic, expressing that they are hit. Now, Deku, after hearing about that, he does actually come flying in. As whenever Deku he's floating in the air, he does start to tell everybody exactly what they need to all start doing. And you do actually have for some people they do go to pull their weapons. And Deku, he does watch. As the team down below, they are currently all going in to attack the creature. People are actually starting to shout in yautja and at least start to plan everything out. As the people who do come flying in, they do talk about how they're going to be going for the creature's weak points. They're going for the back legs. And they're going to be at least going for the upper to mid-lower back on the creature. As the people who they were already on scene, the one who was avoiding the rocks, they do come flying down and stabbing directly into the upper part, closer towards the neck of the creature, expressing that they're going to get this thing back for trying to fucking play games. Now, everybody they are going on the attack, and Deku, he is actually watching. Everybody they do try and relatively stay close and go for different weak points. And Deku, he's kind of proud. As, well, everybody they are at least trying to coordinate, and whenever they do need to, they do get off of the creature with their weapons. Some are unarmed. And you do actually have where somebody, they are going to bring their hands up in an attempt to use their quirk. And the moment Deku does see them go to put their hands up that way, he does go to radio into them. As everybody they do hear Deku say, "Can't do that." And they're going to say the person's name. As that person they do go to just stop what they're doing, and they go to bring their hands up in a fist. As they do go to get ready. Now, whenever somebody they do come flying by on their bike, they do go to reach out and grab this person's hand. As whenever they do go to do so, you do have where they quickly go to hit the brake and shift their weight before launching the person through the air. Them flying back towards the creature as somebody they do go to distract it. The person pulling out a shuriken, as with two in each hand, or one in each hand, my bad, they do open them up and start to slash across the creature's side. As the moment the creature does go to turn and try to attack, somebody they do go stabbing upwards into the creature's neck. As when they do so, they do go to sever the jugular vein, and then quickly go to back away. As the creature, it does go to spin most of its body, and try and strike at everybody. As everybody, they do go to either back away or avoid any shots that are thrown at them, you do actually have the creature. It does try to chase the people down, and attack the nearest person. However, after at least a few seconds of it trying to stumble around and charge at them, the creature does eventually just slump forwards and start to roll, as it doesn't get too far before it does bleed out completely. And Deku, upon at least staring down, he does inform everybody else that they need to at least start doing this. They are doing very well in their hunting training, and that right now, for the bikes will be used to take the creature back, and then they will be piloted back over to them. As Deku, he does inform them, partner up with somebody and take another bike, since 3 bikes will be perfect to bring the creature's body back to the camp. However, he's going to be using 4 because they still don't exactly know how heavy the creature actually is. And everybody, they do at least go to agree. The 4 people, at least, who were on those bikes, they do go to hop onto somebody else's. As whenever somebody they do go to hop on Deku's bike, he does at least go to inform them. He won't be getting in close, so they'll have to either jump in when they want to, or have to wait for an opening whenever they're close enough to him. The person is going to nod their head as Deku, he does go to press a button, and the 4 bikes, they do link up together. Them flying overhead in the pattern of the beast, where it's essentially just a giant rectangle. Then they're going to at least go to fire grappling hooks into the creature's body. As whenever the hooks do embed themselves deep enough inside, they do go to pull the creature up. As while the creature is being pulled up, you do actually have where additional hooks are blasted outwards and do go to grab the creature up, as it does start to look a bit more like it's actually secured in a net. Now, after that is done, you do have where the first hooks, they are immediately just, well, retracted. And after at least going back into the bikes, they do go to fly off with the creature. And Deku, he does talk about how those things are actually very good for their hunts. The person, they do go to look towards Deku, and someone could just go to nod, as this would go on for the rest of the day. Right now, it's actually been very good. Apparently, this has been the best winter on the planet that they've experienced so far. And since now it's spring, things are a bit better. Fact is, this planet has some sort of, well, ecosystem very similar to Earth. However, it's just that the way it rains here, it seems different. But other than that, the snow seems to kind of be the same. He can't exactly tell what's off. It's gotta be something with the atmosphere, maybe. Or just the reaction to water. Now, with that, you do also at least have wherever they do go throughout the hunting day and come back, everybody, they do go to part ways. And some people, they are even conversing in yautja about exactly if they want to go train, or if they do want to battle and see exactly who can get the upper hand on who. And Deku, he actually is very happy by this, as he is currently walking away from the place where they do store the bikes. As whenever he does go to walk into a housing structure, he does go to at least sit down and ask a few questions. As we do currently have where David, he does go to set a cup of tea directly down in front of Midoriya. As he does then at least go to ask Captain Brooklyn if she would like one as well. Yes please. Alright, I'll be right back. David going to walk away. As Captain Brooklyn, she is asking Deku about a few things with, well, the way things have been. And exactly if he believes that the sabotage is all over. Kately, we've been over this. The yautja, the information on his ship was enough. It proved that he not only tried to kill us all, it proved that he was the one who had that package. There's also that container. We've been able to store some of the spores inside of it. All of our samples are inside of it, and we did have to destroy a sizable portion of those eggs. But other than that, it's all fine. If you want to talk science, talk to David, not me. Now, Deku going to actually sip his tea. As he does go to set his cup down, he does talk about how, if anything, right now they need to start focusing on the engineers. Really? So is that really what's going on here? David walking back into the room, as he does go to set down a cup and ask her if she would like any sugar. Yes, please. David going to at least set down some sugar in front of her as she's going to grab a few cubes. And Deku, he is watching her, as well she does start to pour in, or she does go to put in the sugar cubes and then go to put in some creamer. Deku, he is staring at her. Her actually going to stir her coffee, or her tea, and go to start talking, asking if he really does think that going after the engineers is a good idea. I do. Again, Scar, I don't know exactly what you want here. I want revenge. Okay? That I do kind of understand. But other than that, why now? Why do you want to go after them now? Because we got things settled. Now that we're actually a bit more sustainable, we actually export some stuff. People are looking at us differently. Fact is, I said I was going to go kill an engineer. So I'm going to go kill an engineer. And I want to at least get some answers. I want to know why they killed us. Mr. Midoriya. Yes, David? You can just call me Scar. I prefer to keep things formal, or even casual, but I will not call you Scar. Okay, so what's up? If I am to ask a question, I am curious. What do we know on the engineers? Aside from them being genetically identical to us, practically nothing. We know that they had some hand in our creation. We know that it's very much possible human life came from them. So I'm just confused. Would that mean that they are gods? I mean, in a way, it's a theory, and one that so far we've been able to prove. Since the yautja, they don't know when the engineers popped up, but they know when humanity did. And there's this fine little line where it shows there is a chance engineers came to Earth, and the yautja may have observed it. So, there are our gods. I guess. Then that does pose another question. What if they are being controlled by somebody else? What if they aren't actually the ones pulling the strings? David, what are you getting at? Well, you're asking, you're saying they create us, but who created them? I, hmm, honestly, I don't know. I never really thought about that. The idea, it's come across my mind about why they're so advanced. But if they create us, and you're actually trying to ask some of the right questions, David. Really? Yes, but I just don't understand then. I know. Oh, we're gonna have to look into that then. Maybe we'll find out. Maybe we won't. Maybe they are the ones who created everything. We don't know how ancient their species is. All we know is it's over, what, 3, 4 billion years old? Older than our planet. It's more than likely they could be at least 2 billion. It's got to be somewhere around there. I don't even see why they would come to Earth. It's practically just another experiment to them. Maybe that's it. I honestly don't think so. They're going to stand up, talking about how he's had enough of this, and how he is at least going to start asking around and seeing what he can find, since he knows that there's been something found out in space. And he is quite curious. He's been given the info for at least a yautja clan. And apparently, there was a bit of a red herring. Somebody reported an unidentified vessel out in space a few months back. And this vessel, it was being identified. It was turned over to Yautja Prime. And the vessel itself is one that, quite possibly, could be from the engineers. Nobody really does know. The fact that they get a derelict spacecraft, well, in one piece, that shows quite a bit how exactly impossible the situation could be. And Deku, while he actually does get to board onto his ship, he does walk in. As Nori does, he does go to the mess hall and see a key, who, while she is sitting down and eating, you do have where Deku does walk in and ask her if she has some time to talk. What is it, Scar? I have some questions about Yautja Prime. I'm wondering if you know about that strange craft they found. Um, I can look into it. I never really found anything about it whenever I tried looking before, but maybe there's some new information. Okay. Second question. would it be possible for us to go there? Go there? You mean Yautja Prime? Yes. I mean, I understand it would take time to get there and head there, but could we? Izuku, I'm not exactly too sure. What you're asking, it's a big ask. Besides, this whole idea, heading to my home planet, just to try and look at that information, you'd have to ask around first. Even if you talk to the Grand Elder of Yautja Prime, I don't think you get any information. Really? Yes, but you have to be aware. If you go trying to look at that spacecraft, I don't know how far they'll let you look. It could ultimately not even exist. It could all have been fake. There have been abandoned crafts from Bad Bloods before we found. Some we thought were engineer ships, but they're just modified and, well, messy. Let's just keep it at that. Okay? So, we'll look into it then. Deku walking over. As he does go to wrap his arm around a key and ask her if she is afraid to go home. I'm not. It's just, it doesn't feel like home. It feels like I'm going somewhere else. Trust me, Aki, I get it. I never really like to stay in the same place sometimes, you know? Back on Earth, my parents, we were moving a lot. You get comfortable. You find a place you like. Leaving that behind is hard. But going to a place you know you've never been, it's harder. You feel like you understand how it should be, but it could be totally different. It can be completely out of your control. Yeah, I guess that is the best way of saying it, Scar. Aki, you don't have to worry. Besides, I'm sure we can face it together, alright? Yeah, maybe. Aki going to bring her hand up. As she's going to grab onto Deku's arm and start to at least ask a question. Asking if he can show her more things about Earth, since she's a bit more curious now. She knows that they do have some surviving files from the internet, and she would like to at least review what some of that information could be on. Deku at least going to agree. The pieces of the internet they've been able to scavenge together and somewhat put together, it is sort of makeshift and basic right now. However, combining it with the AI on top of the ship, or the human mothership, for right now, it actually does get fairly more advanced. And Deku, he does actually go to walk over and go to grab something, as he does start to show Aki a few things on a tablet they created. And Aki is just going to at least click on a few things that do catch her interest. Now, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed. Have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.